welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts. I'm on camera today. What I thought I'd share with you today is my 9 favourite, cheapest tools that you can use with resin. And I use these a lot. First one today is baby wipes. Now, I love baby wipes. They are brilliant. They clear up spills, they clear up your hands. They are also really brilliant at clearing out your moulds. The other thing is they're dirt cheap. I buy them in boxes of 10 packs like this. And I think that cost me about £9.99, which is what, about $12? And they last me ages. The other thing is I always make sure I get alcohol-free ones. Now, I don't think they do alcohol in baby wipes, but they probably do hand wipes with alcohol in. I always get the alcohol-free ones because I don't want to damage my moulds, and as we know, alcohol will dry out your moulds. They wipe out moulds lovely without leaving too many smears. You can clean your mats with them. And I don't have soap and water in my studio, which is a pain in the neck. Next time I have a studio built, I'm definitely going to have soap and water put in it. See, look how much that has got off there in seconds. They are brilliant. I use them all the time in both my studios for things. I would definitely recommend baby wipes. There's just something about them that really cleans lovely. So get yourself some baby wipes. I never craft without them. The next thing is micro brushes. I love these. They are amazing. They're actually, I think they're actually designed for your teeth. And for putting makeup on. But I've never used them for my teeth other than just now. I use them all the time for resin. They are so useful. I use this end or I use this end. So this end without the little brush on it, or the end with a little brush on. Brilliant for detail with mica powder and putting different bits in. Sometimes if I need something really thin but not going to damage molds, I just pull the end off like that. It leaves me that little tip and I use them. Now, everybody that I've told about these loves them. So if you haven't got some, get some, and they are really, really cheap. The other thing I love is packing tape. And it's so useful for so many things. If you've got bits of resin that are stuck to your mats that you want to get off, you can get it out. If you accidentally spill a little bit of glitter and get it everywhere, that wasn't an accident, look. We all know how difficult glitter is to get off things, especially moulds. And I love it, look. A few little squeezes. And your glitter is gone. And the thing is, because it's so cheap, you don't mind using it. Look at that, cleaned up lovely. The other thing is, when you've got a mould that you've used glitter in, regardless of how well you wash it up, and you don't want to scrub your moulds because that dulls them. You sometimes get, look, there's a little bit of glitter stuck in this one. Don't know if you can see it. Let me bring that forward. There's a little bit of glitter there. Now, I want that out. It's gone. And you can go around and get all the contamination out. It's also great for making small little casting pots with, and just generally nice and cheap. At a push, you can use it as a damming tape for open back bezels, look, because that's all you really need. If it leaves any residue, like the normal damming tape on the back of your pieces, once they're fully cured, a very, very light spray of something like WD-40 will clean that stickiness off instantly and not affect the shine of your resin. So this is a must-have. But always remember, turn the end over before you roll it back up, because if not, you spend 10 minutes trying to find the end. Long neck lighters, I cannot recommend these enough. Now, you know I'm not a believer in spraying alcohol over resin stuff to pop bubbles. Firstly, you don't want to be breathing that in. It is not good for your lungs. Isopropyl alcohol is a lung irritant. Also, it creates a vapour in your room that if there's a spark or something like that, your room is going to go boom. So I use long neck lighters, and these are so cheap. Amazon sell them quite cheaply, but in the local pound shops or bargain shops, you normally can pick them up a little bit cheaper. I buy a pack of 3 of these for about £4 normally. And the great thing is they're refillable and they won't damage your mould. That flame is not hot enough to go beyond the heat resistance of a silicone mould. So, use long neck lighters. Fabulous. One of my greatest things that I love to use are these pots. I love these sorts of pots. Now, I eat a lot of prepared desserts. As you can see, I have them everywhere. And as you know, I love ice cream. but I just stick my pots in the dishwasher and I reuse them, and then when I'm finished with them, I wipe them out with a baby wipe. Now, I always recommend that you wipe out as soon as you finish mixing, get rid of all the resin that's inside, then wipe it out with a baby wipe, and then they're lovely and clean. The same for your silicone jugs as well. Never let it cure in your jug because it will dry out the mould, but also it's harder to get out. You've got to keep going in there with tape, but we all do it. Wipe it out with a baby wipe. One baby wipe will normally clean up this jug. Absolutely spotless, ready to be used again. Next project. Pipettes. Now you know I love a pipette. I do love a pipette for a bit of accuracy. These, again, dirt cheap, but so useful for filling in intricate bits of your mould. Now, this end, often on the pipette, is too narrow. So all I do is, I think to myself, how deep do I want it? And I nip it off. I always squeeze the end really tight, stick it in my resin, and pull it through. You must have seen me use these loads of times, but they are so cheap, so useful in so many ways. And also, if you slightly over pour in your moulds and you don't want to disrupt anything too much, you can just pop that in like that and suck out some of the resin. I do that quite often. You know what I'm like for over pouring. Little plastic shot glasses. Now, I pick these up again for next to nothing. They are so much cheaper than these little measuring cups. And to be honest, they are great for mixing little bits of mica powder in with your resin, colours and different sorts of things. I've been using those a long time. They go a long way, and again, they wipe out brilliantly to be able to reuse and reuse and reuse using a baby wipe. Anyone think this was sponsored by baby wipes? It isn't. This video is not sponsored, I promise. And the last thing I think I wouldn't want to be without is Oasis or flower foam. I love this stuff. It is so useful. I use it all the time for pushing intricate moulds into to fill them up so they don't fall over. You've seen me perhaps when I fill these moulds up. They can fall over, and I don't want them to fall over. I just push them in the Oasis foam and fill them up. The only thing I would say is be careful, because this can be a little bit dusty sometimes, and you don't want that to be getting into your resin. So try and avoid creating too much dust with it, but it is brilliant. Works lovely. And again, it works over and over again. Really useful, cheap, if not nearly free things that I use an awful lot in my resin. And I think if you're starting resin or you've been doing resin for a long time, these things are really going to help you if you haven't already got them. So without a doubt, these are my favourite cheap or next to nothing tools that I use an awful lot in my resin, and you have probably seen me using them over and over again, but I just thought I'd go through it and explain why I think these are really good and good value. If you found this video useful, please boot that like button. It really does help my video to get out there. And also, if you're new to this resin, you're new to this resin. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. All the links for everything that I've suggested are in the description below, but check out your local cheap stores as well, because you can often get a really good bargain there as well. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.